a woman named Susie Alverson, Justice for Children, and told her Warren is dead. And I couldn't get through to her. And so finally, when she did figure that out, she became very upset because, you know.
So that's how your friendship started?
Yeah. And so I didn't meet her or Lonnie until, this was in June.
How did she come to call you in the first place?
She called me because I was doing a lot of work. I'm a private informant for the FBI, and I was working on some cases, and I was a secret. I am a secret, you know. And so she got my number from some advocates that I've been working on some things. I never worked with a group. I've always been independent. And so she got my name and number because she knew I could help. She thought I could help.
So have you been paid by the FBI in this capacity?
No, I'm a non-paid informant.
So no lawsuit was ever filed after your son's death?
Warren's, no, I didn't get to file anything. I did file. I mean, I did sign papers and contracts with people, very important people, and they decided it was the best interest to not do the job.
When, back to, do you have any grandchildren?
No.
Okay. We talked about the medicines that you had in front of you. Have you ever been treated for mental illness?
No.
Have you ever seen a psychiatrist regularly?
Yes.
Are you currently seeing a psychiatrist?
No.
Have you ever been ordered by a court to see a psychiatrist?
Yes.
When was that?
1991.
In what context?
Judge Elliott had ordered, my son Sherman had been taken, put in a mental hospital by my ex-husband, who's a state official.
And that's not the son. So it's
Sherman
Warren and
Harrison.
Sherman. Okay, so there's Sherman was
12 years old, put
okay.
in a mental hospital because I was in a grand jury on Gus Mutcher, and they put him in a hospital and hung him in a suicide ward for 57 days.
You were in a grand jury on what?
I did Gus Mutcher. I only do public officials.
I don't understand what
I'm a
word you're saying.
private informant.
No, I'm missing the
for
word.
the federal government. I have a letter of introduction that says I'm an expert on the public record and acquisition and analyzation of the public record. I've been doing it for over 20 years. I'm not public. I don't get paid. I'm a citizen. I did it in a rural county where $146 million had been taken out. I started as a child advocate. My son was taken while I was in the FBI in the grand jury. I couldn't say. The gentleman that had him in the hospital had been a good friend of Bill Elliott's back in the 60s, and I went up against Bill Elliott and filed a civil rights suit in 1983 against the state of Texas and Bill Elliott, and went to the Fifth Circuit, and the day before they embarked it, I got my son back. 22 months without seeing or speaking to my son, sold my home.
Okay,
Wait a minute.
Well, this is not, I'm going to object to
A
non-responsive,
felony?
and I appreciate you going
You
on.
wanted to know. My son Sherman, if that's the lawsuit you're looking for, I sued Ken Ross Wright, the psychiatrist, and went to trial.
Okay, I see. So this was.
If that's the one you're looking for.
I understand. So you sued the psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Who?
He analyzed, the case was he analyzed me on the phone. Before he didn't know me, and he analyzed me as crazy and wrote a TRO that happened to be, a long story short, in trial, my ex-husband wrote the TRO.
Okay, well, let me back up and try to walk through this.
There was a trial.
You used a word, Gus Mocker or something?
Gus Mutcher, former Speaker of the House.
State Speaker of the House.
Of Texas.
I apologize for not knowing who
You
Gus
are
Mutcher
not from Texas.
I
In
moved here in
1972,
'94, so
Gus Mutcher was indicted, state felonies, and convicted.
Okay. Well, let me skip ahead then. So you filed suit. I'm still trying to figure out how this psychiatrist came to talk to you in the first place.
He didn't.
Which judge ordered you to see a psychiatrist?
Judge Elliott didn't order me to do anything. Jim Maddox was my attorney, the former attorney general. Ordered me, I had to do something to get my son back. The guy said I couldn't see my son, so Jim Maddox and them arranged. It was all this nightmare.
Okay, so this was part of a custody dispute.
No, they severed my rights, period. And I had to do something, so they said, okay, have her analyzed, and they got me, I had to be tested.
What I'm asking Ms. Honerkamp is, at some point, somebody felt it was important that you see a psychiatrist. And what I'm asking is...
No, I volunteered to go, to give it to the judge to
your
prove
son.
that I was okay.
Excuse me. Only one of
I'm sorry.
So this was part of a effort on your part
Yes.
to get visitation of your son or see your son that you saw a psychiatrist?
I voluntarily was tested before the before the TRO hearing to prove that, I had to be tested. That was the rule. I mean, everybody at that time had to be tested. Jean Gez is her name, and she tested me.
All right, and I really want to move on, but everyone had to be tested for what? Like everybody?
Everybody that walked in the family court at that time had to see a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and go through the same deal. It didn't do any good, but you did it.
If you were asking to see a child or change custody or visitation, right? I mean, not everyone.
They were taking the children en masse. It's a fact.
Who was taking the children?
The judges were taking the children from the mothers. They were taking their children and saying, "You're crazy." Then you had to prove you weren't. So I went.
This would be when fathers filed custody motions.
It didn't matter. It was just everybody. It was just the way it was for a couple of years down there.
Right, but I mean, the judges weren't coming to houses. I mean, someone had to file some
They
sort
didn't
of
have
motion.
to. You just walked in the court and they took your kid.
Okay.
They took mine because my politics wasn't correct. It's on the record.
Who took your kid?
Bill Elliott severed my parental rights.
Because of your politics.
Should have stayed out of Washington County politics. The FBI and the U.S. Attorney went to court for me.
And what year was this?
1991, 92, 93.
Okay. Where are you working now?
I'm not.
When did you last work for pay?
I think the Brenham Animal Shelter,
When was that?
86, 87.
Miss Davis, Miss Davis. I appreciate it. This is just not going to work. I mean, you have a right to be here, but she's got to answer the questions.
But she was incorrect about something. But
And if she needs to, and if you need to talk to her during a break and tell her that her answer to a question was wrong or needs to be restated, we can come back in and correct it. I don't have any problem with that. But I can't have your voice come in from the side on the transcript.
Thank you, Ben.
I don't mean to be rude about it. I just.
no, but she's right and I'm wrong.
Okay, and again, I appreciate it. I'm trying to stick to the
Okay, go ahead.
the format
Go.
here. And
I need to withdraw that question.
okay, let's try it again.
Do it again.
When did you last work?
The last time I had an actual job that I actually got paid on was for Lonnie Davis and Carol Davis and Associates.
And when was that?
In 1996.
Okay. Was that a full-time job?
Yeah.
About how much were you paid a year?
I didn't get paid very much. I charged some stuff on a charge card.
Give me a ballpark for how much money
I think $800-900.
for the year. 96.
Yeah.
Okay. Before that, who and how? When did you roughly? And again, just roughly. When did you start working for them, and when did you stop working for them?
I think I started working for them sometime in October or November, and I stopped working for them. I'm not sure.
Was it more than 4 or 5 months that you worked for them?
No.
Okay, so this was a sort of a temporary position.
It wasn't a temporary position. It ended.
Okay.
Lonnie ended it.
Less than 3 months.
I don't know.
Okay, less than 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Before the 6-month period around 1996, when you worked for the Davises, when was the time you worked before that?
At the Brenham Animal Shelter.
And that was in 86 or 87?
86 and 87.
And what did you do there?
I was an animal shelter renderer of the animals.
So you took care of them, cleaned their cages, fed them?
I killed them, helped kill them.
Okay.
Rendering.
Sorry, I wasn't familiar with
It's a
the
little
term.
different.
And how long, in months or years, did you do that job?
I did it when they started the shelter, and I don't remember. It was about 16, 19 months.
All right. Before that, where did you work?
I've been a housewife. I mean, I worked for Tom Harrison before that.
He was your husband?
Mm-hmm.
What did you do for him?
I ran Paysetter temporary labor company and something called Micro Identifications, which is a microfiche company.
And did you get a paycheck with like taxes deducted
Yeah.
from it, or?